we will discuss on the concept of ports. Heard of ports? You would have studied, no, one port, two port networks, and this one. Something similar, but a bit more intuitive than those one and two port networks. And the concept of ports here is generic, meaning it is for any domain, any across all energy domains. So, let us see what it is. This is a simple circuit, right. It has a source, it has resistance in this loop, and then there is a transformer and a couple of resistances in the other loop. Okay. Now, how do we relate the ports, concept of ports with respect to this? Okay. So, component by component, element by element we take. Now, take for example, this particular resistance, I will just redraw this resistance in this fashion. Okay. So, that this becomes one component with only one entry exit to the external world, to its external world. So, the entry exit is at this point, and this is what we call as a port, and here it is a one port. There is only one entry exit to the external world. And when I say entry exit means entry of power, entry of energy, exit of power, exit of energy, like that. So, this is the port, or the porthole, or like the terminology in the ships, porthole or door or window, whatever it could be. Now, every port will have, of course, two terminals in the electrical domain, which means it will have a potential variable or a effort variable. So, let us say VR1, and it will have a through variable or a flow variable, which is the current here. Okay. In this case electrical, therefore, we are talking in terms of voltage and current. If it was in the mechanical, you would have talked in terms of force and velocity, torque and omega, okay, the rotational velocity. So, like that, every other item also should be looked at as a port. There is some port where there is an entry and exit. So, how do you map them into ports, any circuit or a system? So, this is a box, and inside that one you have a dissipative element, and this is a one port, single port. Okay. So, that is the now the same circuit, if you see various things, can be rewritten slightly in this fashion, same circuit exactly, and I have just rewritten it so that you have a better visualization here. You see here this source, this is also a port, this is also a port, this is a port. So, you see this also is a port, and the shaded region is also a port. We call this one as a junction. So, just like you go out and you have a junction of the roads, you have the junction of the ports. Okay. So, the junction of the ports is also called a port, it is called a multi-port. Okay. So, let us see, let us define the terms here, the variables. So, for this port you have across variable, and now all these orange ones are one port. Now, this transformer is having two entry exits to the external world. So, I will just mark them in a different color. So, you have port 1 and port 2. So, this is a two port device, a transformer. You can mark the effort and the flow variable like this. Let us say you have the effort across the port terminals and the through variable Here also you have Vi and I1. You have the primary voltage and the primary current, secondary voltage and the secondary current. So, you see that everything can be considered like a port. Every item, whichever be the energy domain, can be considered as a port where there is a power or energy input exit point, and that is the port, and it goes inside and performs an action according to its nature. If it is a dissipative nature, so you say it is a dissipative element, and in that particular energy domain, whatever the symbol you would use, you will use B in the mechanical domain, you will use R in the electrical domain. The storage, you identify whether it is a kinetic storage or a potential storage, and appropriately you will use that which is the character of that particular element. Now, now this is a multiport. Look at this loop. There is a loop in the electrical circuit, right. So, if you take this particular thing, there is one entry exit here, there is one entry exit here, there is another entry exit here. Likewise, here also entry exit here, entry exit at this point, entry exit at this point. Okay. These are all ports. You could have n number of those things. So, how do I map it to the bond which we had discussed, symbolic bond. So, this bond here represents this port Vi. So, wherever you have this Vi, you would have replaced it with, let us say, a bond like that. So, this is equivalent to I can replace it. The arrow direction here, the half arrow direction here gives the direction in which the energy is flowing into the port. Okay. So, likewise, if you look at this R1, it can be represented in this way. The direction flows into the resistive element with its character being dissipation in this case. Similarly, you have the replacements, you replace it with this symbolic notations. All these are one ports, and the two port transformer is replaced with a two ports. So, each bond again is one port. So, you have a primary port with primary port variables, a secondary port with secondary port variables, effort and flows. Now, multiport is called a junction. There are two types of junctions, but of course, here there is only one type of junction for this particular system. So, for this junction, there is flow of energy in, flow of energy out into the resistor and further on to a transformer. This is also a multiport junction. So, this can be represented in this fashion. There is a flow of energy into the junction coming from this transformer into this junction. There is a flow out to the resistance R2, and there is a flow out into flow of energy, that is out into resistance R3. So, you should visualize this in this fashion. We will not be writing all this for every system, but this is so that you start visualizing in this fashion. Finally, as you are analyzing the system, you will be modeling directly by using the symbolic notation, but try to internalize these notations, these symbologies, so that you will be able to have an internal visualization of any given system. So, the takeaway here is that you have ports. Any system can be represented in terms of ports, A port has a character. The internal character of the port is either dissipative, storage kinetic, storage potential, or it could be a source, a generating item. Or it could also be 2 port, or it could be multi-port. There are only 3 types. Okay. So, you can represent any system, any physical system in terms of these 3 generic components or generic items. A 1 port which has only one energy interaction entry exit door to the external world. A 2 port which has 2 entry exit energy interactions ports. A multi port, multiple doors and windows are available for that. Now, let us take 1 port. Let us see how we can characterize it. Same circuit. Okay. So, we have energy coming into this particular junction here. We have, this is a 1 port because there is only 1 port for the source, and it goes out through 2 other one. This is 1 port and this is another 2 port. Okay. So, you see that there is a difference between this 1 port and this. This is a source. The half arrow is going out of it into some other port, whereas in the case of sinks, the half arrow is going into the component element itself, and there it either stores or dissipates. Okay, 1 port, in terms of sources, there are two types. One is a flow source and one is an effort source. So, the symbol for effort source is like this. Okay. SE represents effort source. So, source, effort, and it will define the effort. So, it could be a torque source, it could be a force source, it could be a voltage source, it could be MMF source, it could be a temperature in the thermal domain. So, in each of those domains, it could be pressure in the hydraulic domain. Right. So, what it will define? It will define the effort respectively. Okay. There is another source, the flow source. Only 2 types of sources, SF, okay. Flow source. What it will do? It will define F. Very difficult to have a physical flow source. It has to be made. Okay. You do not have a physical flow source. You the examples could be current flowing through an inductor. Okay. An inductor, when the current is flowing, so it is something like a flow source, right. So, an inertial, a flywheel, let us say a flywheel is rotating. So, you raise it to a speed, rotate. So, the omega there, the rotational speed is a flow source, something like that one. Okay.
Can we say
like a current source, huh?
solar cell, the power from the solar
Yeah,
cell?
solar cell is both. It has a characteristic which is which in certain operating points it will be like a voltage source. In certain operating points, it is a flow source. It is a hybrid kind of a thing. So, if you look at the solar cell IV characteristic, it is something like this, right. So, in an operating point which is in this region, it will behave like a voltage source, effort source. If the operating point is in around this region, let us say, it will operate, you can say, like a flow source or a current source. So, it is a kind of a hybrid. Depending upon the operating point, it behaves accordingly. It is not a true current source nor a true voltage source in the strict sense. So, in terms of the sinks, there are three. You see, when we discussed what happens to the energy when it is flowing from the source to the destination, there are three things that can happen, isn't it? One is dissipation, the other one is storage bifurcated into two mechanisms. It could be a kinetic storage, potential storage. So, there are only three components as sinks. So, one is dissipation, dissipative. In the electrical domain, it is resistance, but this resistance is a generic R I am putting here. In that respective domain, that particular symbol, whatever is used in that domain should be used, or you can, it is understood, you are using the dissipative element of that particular domain. Kinetic storage, L again is a generic element, generic symbol. In the electrical domain, it is L, and potential storage, C. In the electrical domain, it is capacitance, but this is a generic potential storage. So, in the one ports, these are all the ports that are there, five different varieties, and you have two of them sources, three of them sinks. Actually, overall there are only 9 components that you need to remember, out of which these are 5, 4 more, and you can design, you can analyze any system in this universe, I suppose, okay, with these 9 components. That is the amazing part of it, because it works on the principle of energy flow. Okay, so, it is a very, very powerful tool. You should look at bond graph as a tool to get our mathematical model in the state space form. Okay. View it in that sense. 2 ports. So, this transformer you see here is a 2 port. It has a primary side port and it has a secondary side port. It transfers the energy from one port to another. Okay. Of course, in the electrical domain we call it transformer, but 2 ports have 2 varieties. Okay. Let us see. One is called the transformer, and the symbol is like this. We use TF. So, when you write the bond graph in single line, it will appear like this. So, I have a primary port symbol TF, a secondary port. There is a turns ratio or some ratio. In the transformer case, specifically electrical transformer case, it is the turns ratio. It could be anything else also. So, you have E1, F1, E2, F2. These are the variables. In the case of the transformer, the relationship between the 2 port variables are effort to effort, flow to flow. Okay. So, the link here is this gets related to this and flow gets related to flow of the other port, using M as the relationship variable. So, if it is a transformer, electrical transformer, where I have, let us say, 1:n, and there is a primary Vp with a primary current Ip, secondary effort voltage Vs and a secondary current Is. The relationship is Vs equals N times Vp. Then Ip equals N times Is. So, this is a transformer which is written like this. What is the relationship variable here? Now it is N, primary effort, primary flow, secondary effort, secondary flow. So, this you will have to write it in this form. Likewise, you could have, as I said, transformer is one. In the mechanical domain, you have another component, gear. Could be step down or step up. So, where you see that here, what are the primary variables? Torque and I have written it as V here, typed it as V, but it is omega. So, we will use omega for rotational. I think next time I will use symbol fonts for that. So, this will be T1 and omega 1, and this is T2 and omega 2. Always the power, if you take lossless, T1 omega 1 power is equal to T2 omega 2 power coming from out of the ports. Same way here also, Vp into Ip, instantaneous power fed into the port, primary port, coming out Vs into Is, no loss within. Okay. If you want to model the loss, then you will have to go into the magnetic domain. So, I will tell you later how we go in and then model even the, if you want to model this in detail. Okay. You want to take hysteresis loop losses, you want to take the eddy current losses. Okay. That can be done. You can keep going deeper and deeper into each of the components. The other component, as I said, is a gyrator. Gyrator is actually more fundamental than the transformer. Even the electrical transformer that we use is actually not a TF element. It is composed of two gyrator elements. So, in the gyrator, what we have is something like this symbol. A very nice example is a DC motor like that. You have on one side of the port, this represents the primary port, E1, F1, effort and flow, electrical domain, and the other port, secondary port, is in the mechanical domain. So, most of the times when energy is crossing a domain, electrical to mechanical, electrical to magnetic, the interface port, interface component somehow turns out to be a gyrator. Most of the cases I have seen, almost all the cases, whenever there is a domain change, let us say this is domain 1, domain 2. So, this interface, you have power flow or energy flow here, and then comes out in the other domain as torque. Let us say in this case, in the motor case, you have the electrical power comes out as torque and omega. Electrical power going into a magnetic domain as flux and d phi by dt. So, whenever it crosses domain, majority or at least all the things that I have seen till now are gyrator elements. So, what is the character of the gyrator? But it does not necessarily have to be like that. It could be either transformer or gyrator. Gy. So, you have the primary effort, one side port 1 flow and effort, port 2 effort and flow like this, and there is a relationship variable which relates port 1 and port 2 variables. So, in the case of the gyrator, the relationship between port 1 and port 2 is like this. See, remember, recall, in the case of the transformer, it was like variables. The relationship between port 1 and port 2 was effort to effort, flow to flow relationship. Whereas, in the case of the gyrator, it is the opposite variables. On one side effort, to the other port it will get related to the flow, and so on to the other set also. You can see why it is so in the case of the motor example which I had shown. See, what is this voltage? This voltage is the back EMF, right, EB, and there is a current, let us say armature current, and on this side you have the shaft where you have the torque and omega. So, what is the relationship? So, if you see, I will write it as the gyrator. On this side you are having electrical side EB, IA, torque, I will say developed torque TD, omega, rotational speed. A relationship should be EB on this side, omega on this side, isn't it? EB is equal to K omega, the parameter of the DC motor, right? K, I will put that as the parameter. And what is IA? Yeah. TD is equal to K IA. So, it goes like that, right. So, if you say this is the cause goes and gets affected, and the speed gets affected by all the loads here on this side, and this will decide the, again, 2 port variable. Even in the case of, let us say for example, I will take one coil of the transformer, so let us say I have V primary, I primary, okay, and then inside you have d phi by dt flow d phi by dt is the flow, and then there is MMF, effort, right, magnetomotive force, okay, which is causing the d phi by dt, right. So, if you look at this, there is one more thing here. We have some number of turns n number of turns. So, what are the variables on this port on the electrical side? See again here on the electrical side, so just see that there is a domain change. In this side it is electrical, magnetic. So, here you have Vp, Ip, on the other side it is MMF, d phi by dt, MMF as the effort, d phi by dt as the flow. What is the relationship between this? Vp is equal to Vp is equal to n d phi by dt. MMF is equal to n Ip, right. So, this is the relationship between, so cross relationship. Okay. So, as I was saying, actually two gyrators would form a transformer, right. Do you agree with me now? If I am having a transformer like this, and I have so this is Vp, Ip, Vs, Is would flow if you connect the load. So, there is inside d phi by dt, isn't it. So, there is at this interface into the magnetic, you have a Gy depending upon the number of turns, Vp, Ip, you have a d phi by dt and MMF. Then there are the magnetic domain things, there will be loss, there will be storage, potential storage in the fermions. Okay, on this interface it comes out of the magnetic domain. Gy. Of course, there is some MMF, I will say MMF2, it could be d phi by dt, same d phi by dt or different d phi by dt. In this case, it is the same d phi by dt, and on this side you will have Vs, Is. So, if this is n primary, this is n secondary, another Gy comes into the picture. So, if you take from here onwards, this will be in the magnetic domain. Outside it is the electrical domain. So, you can model in the electrical domain here, then transfer, hand it over. So, the transfer component is a gyrator here, goes into the magnetic domain, and another domain change, magnetic to this one, again another gyrator comes up. So, like that you will see that gyrator keeps coming up whenever there is a domain change, interestingly. Anyway, this is an example. As I was saying, this whole thing is a transformer, right? So, I can reduce it. So, you have, as I say, only two types of two ports, okay? A gyrator and a transformer. So, how many? Now, you had 5 plus 2, 7, 2 more will come in, and that will complete all the components. So, the multi-ports, now this is a multi-port, right, the shaded one. There is a port here entering this junction, there is a port here where energy is going out of this junction, there is a port here going out of this junction in this case. So, this is a junction, and a junction is a multi-port, more than 2 ports. So, you have the 1 port, 2 port, anything more than 2 ports is a junction. So, this multi-port junction here, how do we represent it? Now, in this case, here I have put a character here for this junction. What is the character of this junction? All ports connected to the junction have common flow. Is that true? If you take this port, and this port, actually they are in the electrical domain. So, you can visualize it, that is why this electrical circuit is a nice example. But remember that the statement that you are making here is generic, it is valid for all domains. Okay. So, if I take this particular type of character of this junction, where here it is a series connection of all these ports share the same current, same flow. So, all ports connected to the junction having common flow, we will call it as one junction. What is the other junction? What is the name of the other junction? Zero junction, 1 and 0, that is all. There are 2, I said, no. So, apparently people have named it like that. So, we also go, I think somewhere along the line, see this bond graph was started by, see it is very, very popular in the hydraulic and the mechanical domain, I told you, right. Henry Painter is an engineer, okay, who actually started this modeling process somewhere in the 1960s kind of time frame. So, there at that time they used to call it as this as P junction and S junction, okay, parallel and series maybe. You know. But somewhere along the line all the literature, at least today's literature, has converted to 1 and 0. So, you will only see in the bond graph literature 1 junction and 0 junction. One junction represents where all flow are same. 0 junction would represent where all efforts are same, dual. Okay. So, the 1 junction we will represent this part, this part. See, there is something here coming into the junction, energy. There is a 1 junction and something going out of here, something going out into R1. Okay. So, I will represent that by this bond here, and then there is something flowing here into the transformer port, primary port. So, out of the junction. So, out of the junction you will see something like that one. there could be any number of ports attached to this junction. So, junction can be having any number. So, I will just mark it any number of junctions. So, you have E2 to En efforts. And so, the symbolic representation of a one junction. What is the character of the one junction? Keep remembering that flow. All the bonds connected to the one junction share the same flow. Very, very important. That is the character of the one junction. Likewise, you have another junction. You see here the parallel structure. I can represent it as ports. So, everything is, now I am just trying. I do not have to do this every time. This is just for 1 or 2 times I am trying to do it in this fashion. Next, just looking at it, you should be able to say that it is a one junction or a zero junction. So, you see that this is a port where the power is being fed in, and from there is a power being fed into this one port. There is power being fed into this one port and also into this one port. You see that all these ports have a common effort. There is a effort, the terminals connected across here. All these ports have common effort. This is same effort as this effort, as this effort, as this effort. Okay. So, this is a multi-port junction where we say all the ports connected to this junction have a common effort, common potential in the electric circuit nature. This is called a zero junction. So, same thing, energy is coming from one of the ports, zero junction, energy is going out onto multiple sinks. Energy can come in from multiple ports also, not necessary that it should come from a single port, it can come from multiple ports and then goes out into multiple directions. So, this is a zero junction. So, that is all. The number of components. It has only 2 types of junctions. So, you have 5 one ports, 2 two ports, 2 multi ports, totally 9 components. So, these 9 components you should be able to represent any physical system. But you have to remember these 9 components really well, means it should get internalized, because next I will also be doing causality. So, there are some things which you have to remember. It is like a language. Okay. So, once you learn the machine language for modeling, okay, you should be able to do the modeling by inspection and take out the state equations by inspection. That is the actual this one. So, as I said, 5 one ports, 2 two ports and 2 multi ports.
In a junction there can be both series and parallel elements also. No?
That is what here, no? When you say one port, the moment I say one port, what character should come into your mind? All flows are same. So, in an electrical, when you say a series junction, this component, that component are sharing the same flow. So, you should put a one port there. It comes into the classification of one port. So, either it will be series or parallel. So, in the case of the parallel, they share the same potential, zero junction.
So, a single multi-port junction will be subdivided into one junction, 2 junction.
Yes, subdivide. So, as you like, I will show this example. You have this one. So, I have 1:m, and let us say you have this loop currents, okay, loop current IP and IS, and let us see how you will represent this particular circuit into the bond graph representation. So, let us make this bond graph representation simple. Okay. So, the energy is coming from here. So you start with that, start with the source, the energy is coming from that. So SC, so it is having two variables, one is the effort variable and the flow variable, VI and IP. Now where is it connected? It is connected into some junction here. Now here looking at this, you can say that this fellow and the rest here are sharing the same flow. So you start with by putting a one junction, and one junction you see that there is energy flow into this R1, and then the energy flows to the rest of the, let's say it's a block, rest of it. So you pass it into that rest. So here there is a transformer TF which is coming into the picture, output of that. Now output of the transformer secondary is in series with these elements. So the common character there you see is that the secondary is having the same current as R2 and it is having the same current as R3, therefore it has to be another one junction. So you will put a one junction there, and to the one junction something else is. So like that the bond graph starts developing just by how things operate. Okay. So when you do not have a circuit, when you are doing something new, you will start, okay, this is where the energy starts. Now as I proceed forward, I see some dissipation, okay, to be eddy current loss or hysteresis loss, there is some dissipation, which means I will have to put an R component. Now I will have to think, is the effort common between these two or is it flow common? Only two things you have to. Okay, I see that the flow is common, I will put a one junction, go forward, next. So you keep arguing like that, and then unknown physical system you will be representing only in terms of these things. Then from there you will be able to generate the, likewise this also. So here what you have, I1, I2, I3, the bond graph representation again starts from this. So you see that, I see that there are multiple components here and they are all sharing the same effort. So you put in a zero junction, and there are multiple bonds going in there into each of the one ports, gets dissipated. So in this way you should bring out the representation of system, even unknown system which you have not seen even for the first time. You just try to visualize from the source bond. From the source bond, what happens next? I am going into the system. You should visualize as though you are traveling into the system. What happens? First I see a dissipation, or I see potential storage, or I see a kinetic storage. So you start putting in the components. Okay, I see, let us say you take a DC motor, you are entering the source port of the DC motor, you see a dissipation like RA you will put, and then there is some kinetic storage coming into the picture, LA will come, transferring onto the mechanical domain. So the moment you have a transfer to domain transfer, you put in a gyrator. So like that you will see that the models are developing, and then when you work back with the equations and then you see that everything falls in place, then next step would be causality. When we see causality also put in place, there should not be any conflicts. The moment there is a conflict, then you know that your model is wrong, go back, change it, things like that one. See, the next topic that we need to worry about if this you internalize, then you are ready to do the modeling. This has to sink in into this one. Causality, as I was saying, so here I can, so there are two variables in this, right? I will put something like that. This is right. Internally, you are not going to write this every time. This is another possibility, right? Which one should we use? So, wherever you see that, so the difference, what is the essential difference between these two one ports? What is the independent variable here?
Yeah.
Voltage is the independent variable, IR is the effect, because this is the cause, this is the effect. So, I am saying that here voltage is a cause. I am saying that just by taking this bond, I am saying that it is voltage, or I should say in more generic sense, effort causal. And this is flow okay, I will erase it. What about this one? And then I will leave you. What are the two possibilities? Then there are two possibilities. So, again here you see the cause is the voltage across the inductor, effect is the flow. Cause is the current through the inductor, effect is nature prefers this bond compared to this bond. So, whenever you are putting your bonds, when you are developing the bond graph, you should use this bond, not this bond. Now, the next question arises, how do I distinguish between this bond? Okay. So, that is where we have a method to distinguish. Both look the same, right? I will put a vertical bar called the causal bar on. Now, you should remember which end is which. Okay. So, this, the moment I put this notation, I know everything about it. Moment I look at this notation, I look at that causal bar, I know that there is energy storage, I know what equation is being used. The equation that is being used is IL is equal to 1 by L integral of EL dt. If I use this, I will be using this equation. But the moment you land up in a notation which is like this, when you are making the bond graph, somewhere you are landed up with like this, which is coming up with this equation, then you know that it cannot be. Then you know that your model is wrong somewhere, or you have made an assumption which you are not supposed to make. You should never get any, whether inductive, capacitive, anything, you should not get any causality in the whole bond graph system, in the whole modeling system, which will result in an equation, a differential, which is having a differential independent variable, differentiated one. Okay. So, of course, we will look at how all those happens, but the important part in causality is this. You have two possibilities looking at, because there are two power variables. Every bond has two power variables, and therefore every bond has two ways of obtaining the equation. Either effort can be the cause variable or flow can be the cause variable. Okay. So, which will be the cause variable is again for you to visually understand, we use the causal bar just to indicate to the reader which is the cause variable and which is the effect variable, of course. With practice you will know that just looking at it you will know that this is current effect and voltage causal, like that. Okay. Anyway, that if you do some examples you will know that automatically. In few moments you will learn that language. As I said, it is like learning a language, it is the lipi of this bond graph. Okay. You go to the net, read up some materials, keep reading on that, you will get some, this one. Main library also you have lot of wonderful books. There is a book on bond graph by Karnopp, Karnopp, N-O-P-P, I think. It is a fantastic book, very old book, written maybe in the 70s or 80s, I do not know. I do not remember the publisher. You will have to go into the library and take out that book or do a search and then take out the book. That is a good book, you get a lot on that one. There is another by Jean Thoma, good book, but not so good to read in the sense that the symbols are not 1 and 0 junction. He is using the old notations of P and S. So, you can get a bit disoriented with that one, but that is a very nice book, very thin small book, but Karnopp is much more more complete in that sense. You go to the net, there are a whole range of articles written on bond graph, just read up on that one, okay, and then it will help you when you are doing the practice. Okay. So, next we will go deep into the causality and then see what happens.